how to transfer your design onto your blocks and how to start carving. Now, your slabs need to be what we're going to call leather hard. I can pick it up and it's not flopping around. It's still cool to the touch, and if I'm running my thumb over it, I can still smooth it. It's got some strength. It's stiff on its own, but it's still usable. Okay, be gentle with these. You can crack them. Okay, it's not dry, but it's not super pliable anymore. Okay, I took your designs and I copied them 3 times for you. Okay, so you'll have 3. You're going to have to go through and find your own designs. I don't know where they all went, and cut them out. I made you 3 copies, so you have enough. Carefully cut this out. Remember, leave that little 1/2-inch border. That is important. That is what helps hold your whole piece together. You get rid of that, this will fall apart. I ended up picking a more simple design because I think it's just going to be easier to keep everything together. All right, I'm going to take my design. I'm going to very carefully, to the best of my ability, line it up on my block. And it might not fit perfectly, just get it as close as you can. Now you're going to use a pencil. It doesn't need to be sharp. Dull is actually going to be better. And what you're going to do is you're going to trace your design. You're not trying to push through the paper. You're just trying to press hard enough that it makes an indentation. It might be kind of hard to see right now, but it's there. Press hard enough. You might go through the paper, and that's okay. Oh, my pencil is broken. That'll be fine. But you're going through, and you are pressing your design in. If you press too hard, you'll go through the paper. I'm just going to use one of my clay tools to do this because my pencil is dying. You can use anything with some sort of point. It looks like I'm actually cutting my design, and that's okay. As long as it's there and we see what's happening. I'm just trying to press my design through the paper onto the clay. Okay, and I can come back in later and make these a little more evident. Okay, but we're just transferring the design. That's all we're doing, is doing a transfer. You're not trying to carve anything out just yet. Let's try one of these guys. Not trying to carve anything out, you're just transferring your design. Hold your paper in place firmly, but don't press too hard with your fingers, or you're going to end up with fingerprints on your design. You can do this with dots too. If you're tearing things up and it's getting really frustrating, you can just do a line of dots, and it'll give you like a little dotted line on your clay. Try to keep your paper as flat as you can. I'm liking these watercolor pencils. I think this is working well because the lead is soft. I'm also pulling. I'm not trying to hold my pencil straight up and down. So I'm just gliding it across. You can feel the clay moving as I do this. Okay, there we go. Oops. So you can see that the design is now transferred. Okay. Now what I can do is start cutting. Okay. You don't want to try to cut all the way through on the first round. You want to kind of just redraw the lines you already have. I personally like this tool. You can use most any of the kind of knife-like tools, but I like this one because it's very thin, so it's not pushing a lot of clay around. Okay, so I'm going to go through. I'm cutting about halfway through the block to start with. Okay, if you want to go around and kind of pre-cut everything first, that's fine, or you can go one piece at a time. Whatever works best for you. I'm going to just work on like half of my block right now. I'm not going to worry about these little pieces just yet. Okay, and I've got that. I'm going to go all the way through till I can feel the knife tool hit the board. I'm going to work out from the corners. If you try to like pull your tool into the corners, you're going to smush a lot. So try your best to work out from the corners. And what just happened there, that's okay. I'm just going to get rid of like this chunk. Sometimes you have to work in bits and pieces and you can't pull a whole piece out, that's okay. I'm going to lift this out. Piece gone. This just goes in the dead clay. Just ball up all your extra clay in the end. And then I can carefully remove this piece. Okay, a lot of people get a little frustrated when trying to remove those pieces of clay. Take your time. Okay, if you have to kind of dig it out, do so gently. Try not to mess up your edges. You want to try to take it out in chunks. You don't want to really dig through this. Okay, it can be tricky, but you can do it. The more dry your block is and the more you are able to really cut through this, the better it's going to be. Okay, so just take your time getting those out. Now, some of your designs might be easier to remove with what's called a loop tool. These are named loop tools because they have loops on either end. Okay, and these are good for doing rounded items like this piece right here. Now, here's the cool part with these. If you want, you can just remove part of it and leave the design in there and not fully remove it. That's fine, as long as I can really see that design coming out. Now, we might be flipping these over, so this might be something that you have to wait and do on the back side. Yeah, we'll be fine. Okay, so you can use the loop tools to do some of your work instead of carving if you want to be a little safe. Some of my loop tools, if you look at them, some are this flat metal and they're a little sharper, and some are actually just a wire loop. Okay, use whatever you think is going to work best for you. You can kind of like draw with them a little bit. You do not have to cut out every single bit of your design. Some of it you can just work with your tools and kind of remove parts of it to create a little recess. That's okay. Okay, and this will be this, yeah. So be careful, you don't want to move this around a lot. Cut out the important parts. If you want to just carve into some of the more detailed areas rather than actually physically cutting them out, that is fine. Take your time, do this carefully. If you goof up, you're going to have to work really hard to try to save your slab. As tedious as this might seem, take your time, do this well, and you will have an awesome slab piece in the end. Okay? If you're finding that you've made lots of like tiny little areas that are hard to cut out, maybe rethink your design a little bit and simplify. All right, and you'll go through and do all of your slabs just like this. Good luck.